everyone. How to look ahead and how to practice without slow solves. Okay, so in terms of the latter, um, I mean, in my opinion, like slow solve is like probably the most useful practice you can do. And in terms of why it's important, it's because it gives you time to think um, quite so about like the moves you're making, and more than also in addition to the moves, the choices you're making. So which pieces to solve when. So I think they're especially important. If you want to practice without so slow solves, well, my guess is your reason for that is just it's boring to do. So that would hinder improvement, but I guess like doing standard solves doesn't really hurt. Alternative, maybe if you really don't want to go too slow with your solves, you can go like semi slow. So maybe turn like something like this. In terms of look ahead, I think a lot of it comes into like knowing what you're comfortable with and building off of it. So like say you like know certain cases very well, you can probably look ahead on that. But if you are learning some new cases, you might get a bit confused. And I think it's really about kind of like drilling what you're familiar with. So I think as I talked about in multiple videos, you have a cycle between improving, learning new skills, and getting good at those skills. And I think that's kind of how look ahead works. It's much more about reinforcement than anything else. Just have like one viewer. I'll do this one with, yeah, because why not? Okay, 50. Double parity, so 131. What do you think about the M slice edge pairing? I know Holchuk has been raving about that for years. I know I'm sure in the past, right, when you had V cubes, right, it's a lot harder to kind of finger trick like this. So it's a lot more comfortable to do that, and then your finger tricks are fairly simple. The benefit, right, is kind of like your look ahead. You can go on both sides, like easily, but then these pieces in the back, right, are really stuck. So a lot of the kind of alignment is awkward with regard to those pieces, right? You can look at very well at these guys. Whereas with the E slice, you know, you kind of have like the top layer mostly. Um, but in terms of look ahead, I guess it's a bit different in terms of the benefit you get. And I think the question really comes down to the finger tricks themselves. And I think with the M slice, uh, I personally find it a bit more awkward. I did try it for a bit, and I know like some people still use it, but I think you know if you look at the professionals, they're all using slice solving, and as a result, I think that's probably recommended. Also with the whole Yao evolution, right? It's a lot more E-slice, right? Because in Redux, right, you can kind of pair these two and then do these two later on. But with Yao, you have like one entire face done first. So if you're doing like E-slice, you only see these two edges here versus seeing your entire like kind of at least three edges of Redux. So in that sense, with Yao, right, also being a part, I think E-slice is probably the future. But yeah, no, good point. Try to do. All right, I'll do Yao again for this one. Not a great start. I messed this one up. Oops. I wasn't even trying at the end. 145. My experience maybe. Yeah, on what do you call it? On probably on like a 10 by 10. Yeah, you can't really do these E-slices, right? So I talked about V cubes and hardware not being as good. Also, like the layers are kind of thick enough on these cubes that you can comfortably do these moves. Even there, it was like a little tricky. But on a 10 by 10, certainly not, right? You'd always have to rotate to kind of do your edges. So if you're going to rotate, kind of change your hand position and do that, you might as well stick with an M slice. So yeah, I'd agree with that. MGC. So this is a Shadow V2, but I use the MGC as well. I don't really have like a main at this point. Just kind of use whatever is feeling good in the moment. Hello, good to see you. Yeah, L4E, I guess people use more, but I tend to use cycles for L4E. So that's why I like E better, because yeah, cycles. If you don't use cycles, then I know in the past before cycles were popular, used to be on the M slice. All right, one more with Yao, then I'll do some Redux. It's not optimal, but doesn't really matter too much. I'm 32. NGC centerpieces break. I don't know. Like you have to be very careful when it pops out and you put it back in. You have to be very careful. In terms of like making sure you're not bending a piece when it does it. I know there was this 7x7 back in the day called the Wuji 7x7 that used to break all the time. So you have to be very careful with how you put the pieces back in. That's probably the main advice I can give. Also, just like try to turn a bit more accurately. I know like newer cubers tend to break pieces more. Shout out to V2 good. Oh yeah, I know it takes a lot of solves to make it good. Like for a long time I thought it was significantly worse than the MGC, and I don't know. I think they're like somewhat comparable now, but yeah, I know it takes a lot of breaking. Like MGC gets good within like a couple of solves. Like it's really good out of the box, but Shadow is like I do not like it out of the box. You need to break it in. 5x5, stuck on 130. Any tips? There are tons of resources out there, I guess, for that level. I know Kevin has a good video series just on big cube tips, and I think that probably has most of the literature put into that series. I'd recommend that. I have a couple of videos as well, just on general strategy. Kieran, if you use Yao, has some good ones on some of the finer points. So I'd recommend looking at those. I'll keep doing Yao actually. That's fun. Two I have there. It's 133. Okay, let's see. Thank you. That's sweet. Yeah, not well. The competition is quite rootless today. A lot of new top level big cubers. All Yao solovers for the most part, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it. Spend time, a lot more breaking. I doubt we better than the MGC. Yeah, I mean, I'd say like they're somewhat comparable, but it by no means is the Shadow like objectively better than the MGC. I mean, I'd say like, yeah, I'd recommend the MGC to most people. I think it also fits. If you have like a weird turning style, you probably if you have to turn a little more accurately for the Shadow. Whereas this cube is a lot more forgiving in terms of corner cutting. So yeah, no, I mean, I'd say stick with your MGC. Yeah, no, that's my recommendation. Yeah, I love this cube too. So, yeah. It's 138. Yeah, I don't think it'll be better on 7. Okay. So in terms of Yao, yeah. So I know I made a video a while ago just that it's like better for 5, not for 6 and 7. In terms of fundamentally, I'm not sure. Honestly, like I'm not sure what my opinion is anymore. But one thing that's kind of motivated me to practice a lot more with Yao has just been the new top solvers. So just Timon, Janos Borewski, the new what's it, Zhao, who recently got the sub 2.7 by 7 bean. Right, they're all very new solvers and doing incredibly well with Yao. So that's kind of what's motivating me to practice. In terms of what's objectively better, I mean, I don't even know at this point. Obviously, I'm a lot more comfortable with Redux. I've been doing it for like hundreds of thousands of solves on Redux. I don't even know. But so I don't know what's better. If I were to compete, probably use Redux just because I've had more experience with it. But yeah, I'm just playing around with both and then seeing what works. I know for 6x6, like my times aren't like super far apart, and neither for 5x5. For 7x7, like yeah, definitely. No, my Yao time is stood out compared to my Redux time. Yeah, sure. I'll give you a shout out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hi, mom. Yeah. Great. Yeah, the real Dr. Savage. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, go follow this channel. Haven't done much Yao 6. Yeah, no, I'm still like if you look at my Yao solves, like they're far from optimized. Other people who do a lot better than I do. So I'm like very much still in the learning phase there. So yeah, we'll see. I don't really know. That would have worked a lot better on Redux. I might have actually wanted to go to the other edge. But I guess it's something I should play around with. $134. So just something out there, right? We talked about Yao and Redux, and in that specific solve, right? You usually do your white cross edge as a fourth, but in this specific case, there's something that was almost done, so I didn't really do it. Right, I kind of just stuck with white, but if I want to optimize Yao, sometimes it might be smarter to make my fourth cross edge of a different color, and do the white one afterwards. So just a thought. Much, yeah. My time comps are better. It's gonna go. Oh, nice. Good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Improving quite a bit. All right. That was not good. That's what happens. I mess up a solve, so I stopped focusing on I stopped focusing on what do you call it? On kind of the time itself and try to do creative stuff. Yeah. So as you notice, I try to like do weird stuff with the last cross edge. So yeah, just a couple of things to note about my practice. Do you play NFS Heat? Sorry, don't know what that is. Are you from India? Do I know Hindi? Yes. May Hindi bolta ho. Yeah, I speak in. Yeah, so I lived in India until I was 11, and then I moved to the U.S. So people always ask like, "Are you NRI? Or are you like what was it, faking that accent?" No, I've lived here for around 10 years now. And I lived in India for 10 years. So yeah. Hi Alan. 4 cross edges for Yao. Oh no, I do 3, and then the last one after. I know Jaden has some like video on that. I mean, yeah, I think again, just a lot of my Yao practice has been off like what the top solvers do, and I kind of stick with that. So we can try. What's it? We can try some Redux now. See how that stacks up. We talked about my progress on Yao. Oops. Don't need to do that here. Yeah, that's the issue with doing 2 methods. I use the wrong center techniques. So that was a pretty inefficient set of centers because I just used a lot of Yao moves. So this is definitely not a good comparison that way. It's an apple to apple, but these edges look pretty good. That's nice. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. Those are some interesting operators like pretty fancy actually. That was a very interesting solve. Like had a whole bunch of 136. Yeah, had a whole bunch of some moments where it just like messed up, but then I revived in like pretty interesting ways. For World's Podium for big cubes, Max Park, Kieran Behan in first and second for 6 and 7 for both. So for 6 and 7, Max first, Kieran second. First 6x6, third place. It's going to be between Janos, Timon, possibly Kevin or Felix. Either one. So definitely Max and Kieran for 1 and 2. And then for 3 on 7x7, if this new if Zhao goes for 7 for to Worlds, I'm not gonna. I mean, yeah, I'd put him down on the podium. Hey, Danny, what's up? If Zhao goes to Worlds, I'd put him on podium. But assuming not, in terms of popular cubers, I don't think Timon would get 7. Janos maybe, but honestly, I think Yeah, I mean, not Kevin. Um, I put Felix on third for 7 and Janos for 6. That's my World's Podium prediction. So for 606, it's going to be Max, Kieran, Janos, and for 7x7, Max, Kieran, Felix. Yeah, you can quote me on that. Sounds good. This is assuming Zhao doesn't go, but if he does, I'm going to put him instead for third on 7. I don't think he'll be able to beat Kieran with nerves. My man Danny, what's up? You still on? I don't know if I can like add you to the stream, but if I could, I'd love to. Dude, we're gonna miss you, man. Congrats though. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, my man Danny is going to Stanford next year. So shout out to him, man. Massive achievement. Yeah, I know. I'd say finals is probably going to be like mid-50s for national for worlds. I don't know, probably low 50s for the 5 finals for worlds. Maybe like 53 or so. Yeah, no, good luck. I'm sure you can have a shot. Just you've been improving quite quickly. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm. 134. Quite choppy. Nervous wreck. What do you think of Hoya? I mean, like, the only person I know that's like actually like quite competitive with Hoya is Luke Tixon, and he's definitely I've seen a solid like he's definitely has mastered the method, and even he has room for improvement. So it definitely has potential, but really, I guess I'm just going to say there's not as much information. It is more moves, which is a negative. But then again, with hardware going the way it is, I'm not going to completely rule it out as I would have like even like 6 months ago. I'd have ruled it out. Yeah, I guess talk to Luke Tixon if you want to know a bit more about Hoya. For 36 seconds, it's better. 111 redux is actually probably a good solve. So in the parity, and again, 125 double parity. I'll take it. 125 double parity. I should be color neutral if I'm using. Okay, so like I think you asked this question before, and my answer is just if you're color neutral on 3x3, it's not going to help your 4 through 7 if you are not color neutral on Yao, right? So being color neutral on 3x3, right, it's just going to help you with 3x3. Whereas like being color neutral on 4 through 7 is going to help you with those events. So I guess like your question, I mean, sorry, I mean I don't mean to be like mean about it, but it's like, you know, think about like exactly what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to improve on 4 through 7, with color neutrality as your way to do so, you're not going to be able to improve if you don't do it on 4 through 7. So you're only going to improve on 3x3. So do you want to improve on 3x3 or do you want to improve on big cubes? Because if you want to improve on big cubes, you have to be color neutral on 4 through 7 using Yao, right? Otherwise, being color neutral on 3x3 helps you 0. So yeah, just I don't know, think about that question a bit. Recount the logic, if you may. Yeah. Again. Danny, tell Luigi to pull up. I live like 8 minutes, like an 8-minute walk away from him. Like, yeah, tell him to pull up. Oh my god, he's actually that would be kind of funny. Full volume. Can you not hear me? All right, more redux. Yeah, that's the thing with Yao. I can't get times like, 125 double parity with Yao, which is like a 120, 122 without. I can't. I just think my PB with Yao is like something like that. Centers are correct. I'll check afterwards. Redux. Centers are correct. $130.2. Yeah. So I guess I'm a bit faster with redux, but not by a lot. I think the average was like 135 with Yao on this session, but like there were two kind of very negative outliers, like the 140s, which was just me not knowing the cases for Yao. It's kind of a muddy term for what that means, but think of it intuitively. Lockups, 40-second centers. it's not going to be good. The way it's going so far. One chain redux. That was definitely recovery. Bad start. Definitely recovered a bit. Oops. And double parity into 34. Cube. This is a Shadow V2. Yeah, I have the MGC here as well. Both are excellent. I feel like for most people, I recommend the MGC. It's just as good. It's half the price. It's a lot easier to set up and break in. Just do a couple of solves with it. I mean, you have to break it in over a couple of days, but a couple of days in, it's like full performance. Very simple to lube. Shadow V2. Well, I guess I didn't do any fancy lube job with it, but takes a long time to break in. A lot of careful tensioning. And also, like the MGC is just is a bit more forgiving with corner cutting. Whereas the Shadow catches a bit more. But yeah, if you turn it on accurately, you might like it. The main thing with the Shadow is this MGC kind of has is a little bit flimsy. Shadow is incredibly stable. So like, I don't really have a preference, honestly. I just kind of use what I feel in the moment. So right now I'm feeling Shadow. I'll use Shadow. Sub 2 of the V Cube 6. Yeah, it's yeah, you should look at Dan Cohen as well. I tried Northeast Championships 2017, I think, or 2018. Northeast Championships 2018. I tried Dan Cohen's 5x5 that he got world record with. It was like 130. And I got over 2 minutes when I tried solving on it. So yeah, I know. Definitely agree, but Dan Cohen takes that to another level, in my opinion. All right, let's go. That's 133 so far. The average. You can definitely do better. It's not horrible though. I mean, like I've been in like the low 130 space for years. So no pressures. Whatever the time is. That was nice. Efficient. Still over. It was like 40 seconds. That's not good. There's 118 redux from Monturios. Okay, no parity. And 129. Nice recovery after those centers. With a Gibbing and a Cube. Hello, Noah. Yeah. YG mini cubes? No, I've not tried them. I've heard good things. Well, I don't quite think. For what I hear, I mean, I've heard the 4x4 is very good, but I don't know if anyone who actually uses it as a main. I mean, I definitely think the Moyu one is like my favorite. I have the Moyu and the MGC. I like the Moyu one the best. The new Qi one's supposed to be pretty good as well. I don't know too much, but yeah, I haven't tried those at night, but I don't know anyone who mains them. Definitely a great bang for your buck though. fantastic start. So she's under 713. Keep in mind, like, I don't look at these things in comp, but good to kind of get some perspective on yourselves and practice. Oops. 35 centimeters. Very efficient, very efficient. I had a fumbles, but 126. Only 128 average of 5. That's good. Ouchwan worm. So I had a prototype that was defective. I haven't actually tried like a good one because like they had like weaker magnets, and I think mine was specifically defective. So I haven't tried a good one, but I guess it's similar to the Outsuit worm. If that's probably the best way to compare it. I know Lucas likes it a lot. And yeah. Oh yeah, no, I got the Angstrom versions for all these things. Like Molecutes are hard to set up. Yeah. All right. 126.5. The 39 centimeter. Lots of blocks. Use them. Always tricky solves. A lot of pauses. Sometimes it isn't. But we kill those cases. Like, usually they help with bad ones. 114 redux. Nice. 126.4. 127 mean of 3. How many solos do you do per day? It really depends. I mean, I'm doing a triple major, right? So that's like definitely eats a lot of my time. So I guess like it really depends. Like there are times, I guess when I'm under like low stress, I do solve because I have time. When I'm under high stress, I do solves because like it relaxes me. When it's like mid stress, I like don't really do solves. So yeah, I don't have an answer to that question, but probably more than you'd think. You I probably do more solves per day than you think I would do. But yeah, it really depends because yeah, it really depends on the time of year for me. All right, I'll go for an hour. Well, I'll go until we're done with average of 12. I'll do this average of 12, and then we'll Get back to work. Centers. (116) redux. (130). All right, no questions. Yeah, 130. Yeah, I'm definitely faster with Redux, as you can kind of see from this session. I just been doing it for a lot longer. I'm familiar with trade-offs. It's like if any of you play poker, right? It's a lot like that. Knowing which hands are better. So just intuitively you kind of figure out, or you guys trade stocks, right? Intuitively you figure out what strategy makes you money. So this case, making you money is saving time. $39. (120) redux. Yeah, double parity too. 136. Not great, but whatever. Sometimes you don't always win. Am I finished with school? Yeah, I'm a junior in college, so no, I'm not finished yet, but I'll be finishing soon. So, well, not really, because I'm probably going to go for a PhD. So that's another 5 years of school after. So no, I'm actually far from finished with school. When's my semester over? Oh yeah, we end late, so like we get over in mid-June, so like still like another 6 weeks. But yeah, not that summer's any different. It's just as much work, which is good. the face of 123 redux. $137. Professional barrier on big cubes. Oh, nice. Nice. We got to talk about professional barrier. So it's definitely changed from that video I made, right? I think I said like sub 1, sub 2, sub 3. I'd say we're a lot more like sub 1, sub 150, sub 240 now, in terms of like that barrier equivalence. And then really we're going for like sub 53, sub, I don't know, 140, sub 230, something like that. We're really going for those times right now. Oh, hi Max. Yeah, so one solve to go. So let's see any pressing questions before I do the final solving in the stream. So, I guess it's no worries. It's no worries. I mean, I didn't mean to. What is it? It's just the equivalent. I think. I don't think sub 3. I think sub 3 is so much easier than sub 1 on 5x5. And you're definitely pro. Don't worry. You're definitely pro. Well, it'll be. That was just giving the barrier equivalence. Just that 6 by 7 hardware has gotten so much better. Yeah, like sub 3 is like much easier than sub 1, like by a long shot. I still get like solves over a minute on 5x5 sometimes. Like I never get solves over 3 minutes. Not even close. But how many solves? I can't really put a number to it. But I mean, honestly, like if you want to break if you want to make 1 minute, 150, 240, can't be like if you really focus on big cubes. Let's say within like a year's time, you can get there within a year. No, that's too short. Not within a year. Definitely not within a year. Yeah, I can't really put a number to it, but like some people have done it incredibly fast. So, yeah, sorry, I couldn't really answer that well. Any pressing questions? Any pressing questions? Ending the stream soon after the solve. Also want to be able to focus for the solve, so it's not like the last two. Yeah, that means so far is 131 on redux. Yeah, it was 135. So yeah, just waiting to see if there are any questions. Do I have a shot at sub 130? No, 131 at best and 132 at worst. Okay, so it's a pretty consistent average. Yeah. All right, no questions. No questions. Well, yeah, let's get into the last solve after a little breather. We're gonna treat this last solve like a comp solve. Trying to get really want to put my best performance into this, which could go well, it won't go horribly, but just needs more focus really. And I'm not going to be giving splits on this last solve. So yeah. If we get a 131 average, we can call it a success. 131 average as well, instead of 132. Everything looks so different once I get into this mode. Yeah, I know. That definitely felt like a comp cell, and it was a 137, the worst level of the average. So yeah, I guess should probably, if I want to compete again, remember how I used to deal with the nerves on the cubing. I don't even know if I'd call it nerves at this point, or just like focus or whatever, making things important. So the average 12 was a 132. So we're around 3 seconds faster on Redux with this metric, which isn't a lot. Oh shit! I forgot to see the SD because I could see if we're statistically significant. For those who know what that is, Rami, if you're watching this, you know what that is. All right, I'll do the average of 5.3 because why not? Just to cool off. Seven. 6.7. Oops. 8.9. Pretty good recovery. That was definitely something that could have been a lot worse. 6.4. All right, 7.7, 740 average. But yeah, I have gotten better at 3x3. So that's good to see that I got it on stream too. Yeah, it was a 7.40 average. All right, great seeing you guys. Have a good night.